Today we will discuss about that is method overloading and constructor overloading. So first we need to understand the word that is overloading. What is overloading? The meaning of the overloading is the same name with different type of argument or with different number of argument, or by changing the sequence of the data type you can achieve the concept of method overloading. Let me give the practical example for the same. For example, I have one function and that function is void print name. So what this function will do? This will simply print the name. So I'm just printing here name, that is system.out.println, and the name is, for example, Atmiya. Now I want to print the name based on the given input of the user. So I want to create the same function, that is print name. But now I want to create this function by taking the input from the user, that string name. So whatever user pass the value that I want to print. So you can say there are two different functions. This function has no argument and this function has the one argument. So number of argument over here, that is 0, and number of argument over here, that is 1. So you can say this function is overloaded function. So you can say this is method overloading. So in your program, whenever you declare the function with the same name, with a different type of argument, or with a different number of argument, there are so many other ways to achieve the same. Let me give the practical example for the same. Let me save this program as, I'm just saving this program, and that is overload demo.java. Now I'm declaring here class that is overload demo 1. Here I'm just declaring the main method, that is public static void main. Now I'm declaring here one class, and the class is, for example, that is person. Here in this class person, I want to declare one function, and the function is print name. What this function will do? It will simply print the name, and that is system.out.println, and here I'm just printing the name, that is a hello, and that is, I'm just printing here the name, that is hello Atmiya. So it will simply print the name, that is hello Atmiya. But now I want to use the same function name, that is the print name, but with the different argument. So I'm just using the same name with the different argument, but right now I'm passing here, that is the argument, that is a string name. Now what can I write over here? I can just print the value that user has provided. So I can write here, that is a hello and then the name of the person. But now I want to write here, that is a hello and that then Mr. So suppose if the given name is Parag, then I want to print that hello Mr. Parag. But there is one problem, and that is what? The Mr. is static over here. So what happened? Suppose I want to call this function, that is person p1 is equal to new person. Let me call the function p dot print name. So it will simply print that hello Atmiya. Now I'm calling the function, that is hello. Now I'm calling the function, that is p dot print name, and now I'm passing the argument, and the passing the argument, that is, for example, Parag. Then it will say that hello Mr. Parag. But what if the name is of female, and that is, for example, Sita? Then also it will print that hello Mr. Sita. It should be hello Miss Sita, right? So I'm just calling using this, that is p1 dot print name, p1 dot print name. Here you can just compile this program, that is Java C overload demo.java, and you can run Java overload demo 1. So here you will get the message, that is hello Atmiya. So this is the print name function is called. Then I call the function, that is the second function with the one argument, that is the string name. So if I pass Parag, then it prints hello Mr. Parag. But if I pass the name of Sita, then it prints that hello Mr. Sita. So in short, I don't want here the fixed salutation, that is Mr. So can we do here one more function? Yes. How we can use this? For example, I want to create one more function with the same name, that is print name, but now it has the two argument. One is the string salutation, so it is Mr., Miss, Doctor, whatever it is, the user will pass, and then you can pass the name. So now instead of this static Mr., I will use the salutation from the user, and then I will just give some space, and then I will simply concatenate the name. So now I can call this function, that is p1.printName, but now I can pass here, that is Miss Sita, right? So I'm just passing the two arguments over here, that is Miss and Sita. Now you can simply compile this program again and you can run. You will achieve the same. See, hello Atmiya, hello Mr. Parag, and hello Miss Sita. So if you look carefully over here, then the function name is the same. Same name with the different number of argument. See here 0 arguments is there. Here 1 argument is there. And here 2 argument is there. So same name of the function with the different number of arguments, then you can say it is a method overloading. But same name with the same number of argument, same argument, but with the different return type, it is not known as a overloading. Listen carefully. Suppose if you make it here string, right? You says that, sir, here return type is string, and here I'm not printing the value. I just want to return this, right? I just want to return this. Students, please see carefully. This is not a overloaded function. In short, in method overloading, return type doesn't make any difference. The things that you need to check is over here only. That is in an argument you have to check. Return type doesn't make any difference. If you run like this, then you will get an error. And the error is what? The function is already defined in the class. So print name is already there with the same number of argument and with the same data type. If it is the same number of argument and if it is the same data type, then it is not a method overloading, even if the return type is different, right? So this is not at all allowed. You can say that this function is not overloaded function. Why? Because return type doesn't make any difference. Either you need to change the number of argument or you need to change the data type. For example, suppose if you think that, sir, I want here instead of this string salutation, I want the integer, and that is the person code, right? So here number of argument is 2. Here also number of argument is 2. But data type is different. Here integer and string is there. So here instead of this, you can just write, that is, for example, person code and name I want to print. So this is the another variety of the print name function in which I am providing the two things, and that is person code and person name. For example, person code 1001 and the name of the person is Ram. If I provide here 1001 and Ram, then I will definitely able to access this. Why? Because I have the function. See, I have the function. This has 2 arguments. This also has the 2 arguments. But the number of arguments are same. 2. But the data type is different. Here, both the data type are string. Here, both the data type are not string. One is integer and another is a string. Now, another variety of overloading that you can achieve by changing the sequence of the argument. For example, let me copy this and let me paste over here. If you write here, that is the string name first, and if you write here, that is integer person code, and that is the second, right? So this is the another version of my function, that is print name. Now instead of calling like this, that is 1001 and Ram, you can call like this, and that is Sita 100 and 2. So this is the fifth version of my this particular function, and I will get here 1002 Sita, 1001 Ram, and here you can say that, see, this is the function with the no argument, so 0 argument, 1 argument, and 2 argument. So one thing you can say that the method overloading is achieved by number of argument change, right? So by changing the number of argument. Here 0 argument, 1 and 2. Here 2 arguments are there, but the data type is different. Here data type are same, string, integer, here also integer and string, but I change the sequence of the argument, then also it is fine. So this is the way you can overload the method in Java. Now I want to give you one more demo of the overloading, that is method overloading, and that demonstration just because I want to show you that the implicitly type promotion is applied in method overloading. So let me give the demonstration of the same. Let me save this program as overload demo 2.java. Now I want to create a one simple class, and that class name is, for example, test. So I'm writing here the name of the class is test, and this is my overload demo 2. Now please see carefully what I am doing. I have one function, and that function is what? For example, void display. Now here in display function, I'm using the argument that is, for example, integer number, and here I'm printing the message that system.out.println integer is equal to, and I'm printing the value that is integer value, that is number. Now I have one more variety of function, but with the same number of argument, but with the different data type, and the data type over here, that is float number. So I'm just printing here a message that is float and number. Now I have one more variety of this function, and which has the data type that is, for example, short number. And now I'm writing that short is equal to this number. So you can say that these are the three different variety of functions. So you can say this is method overloading. Why? Because it has definitely same number of argument, but each and every argument has the different data type. One is integer, another is float, and another one is the short. Now I just want to declare here that is integer, and that is, for example, I is equal to 100. Taste t1 equal to new taste. Now I'm calling the function t1 dot display, and here I'm passing the I is my integer. Then which function will be called? It will simply check that the value is integer, then it will call the function which contains the integer value, right? So it will simply call the integer function. So let me compile this program, that is overload demo 2.java, and you can run Java overload demo, and that is 2. So it will simply execute the function which contains the integer value. But suppose if you are passing here, and that is t1 dot display, now I'm passing 3.14f. It means I'm passing the floating value. If I'm passing the floating point value, then it will simply call the function which contains the float value. Now I'm declaring here one variable, and that is sort. S is equal to, and my value is, for example, 25. Now I'm calling the function t1 dot display, and I'm passing the value s in the display function. Then which function will be called? It will call the function, and that is sort. In short, you can say if exact match is there, then it will call the respective function. But now my question is, suppose I want to declare here the variable that is byte b is equal to, and that is 50. Now I want to call t1 dot display and I'm passing b, right? Then which function will be called? I don't have the function which contains the byte value. Then is this my program will compile? Yes, definitely it will compile. And it will do what? See, it will check, is there any function available over here which contains the byte data type? No. Then it will check, is there any function which contains the super type of byte? Yes. Super type of byte is, that is sort. So if you run this, then you will get the message that the sort is equal to 50. But suppose if sort is not available, then if sort is not available, suppose I am putting the comment over here. Suppose if sort is not available, then it will simply call the function that is the super of sort. And the super of sort is, that is integer. Is the integer is available? Yes, integer is available. Then for this 25 and for this 50, your integer function will be called. Why? Because automatic type promotion applies over here in the method overloading. Suppose if this display function is not available, and that is for the integer function. Suppose your integer function is not available, and suppose if you are recompiling this program, then it will simply call the super of integer, and that will be the float. And is float is available? Yes. Then for each value, your float function will be called. So what happened over here? Just it is happened just because we have the data type, that is the byte. Byte has the super type, that is a sort. So it means if there is no matching function with the byte is available, then it will call the function which contains the sort data type. Is the sort is available? Yes. If byte is not available, sort is not available, then it will check for the super type of sort, and that is integer. Is integer is available? If yes, then it will simply call this. If integer is also not available, then it will check for super type of integer, and that is, you can say, long. Is long is available? If long is available, then it will call that particular function. But if not available, then it will check for the super type of long. When super type of long is, that is float. Is float is available? Yes. Then it will simply call the float function. If a float is not available, all these are not available, only one function is available which contains the double value, then it will simply take all the input from the user and it will be executed. So I am just creating here what? See, please see carefully. Suppose I am removing all this function. It means that if matching function is available, for example, if I have one function and that is a display and that is a byte number, if matching value is available, then it will simply call that particular function, and I'm printing here that is byte. Now, if you save this and you can compile over here Java C overload demo2.java, Java overload demo2. See here, all this function has the different value, that is integer, float, short, and byte. If all these functions are not available, but only one function is available and that is the double, then all this value will be called automatic. It means automatic type promotion is applied in Java. But this byte function is available with the byte value and another data type, that is string str. Then what happens? Then now this byte will not be called. If you have this byte b, then it will simply check, is byte is available? Yes, byte is available, but another data type is also there, and that is string. Are you passing here string? No. Then it will check, exact byte available? No. Then it will simply call the super of byte, and the super of byte is sort, so it will call the function with the sort. So whenever you run this, it will simply call the function that is sort. Now if you want to call this function, then you need to provide the two argument. If you provide the two argument, that is byte and string, then and then it will be called. So we can say that method overloading is known as a polymorphism. So this is the example of polymorphism. Not only you can do overloading in a method, you can do overloading in a constructor also. So suppose if you want to do a overloading of the constructor, then same rules apply over here. And that is what? the same name of the constructor with the different type of argument, same name of the constructor with the different number of argument, same name of the constructor if it is same number of argument, then by changing the sequence of the data type, then also it is known as a constructor overloading. Let me give the example of the constructor overloading over here. So I'm just saving this program as that is overload demo, and this is now 3. Now in which I want to show you the concept of constructor overloading. So please see carefully my class, that is overload demo 3. Now I want to create here one class, and the class is, for example, cricketer. Now each and every cricketer has cricketer code. Each and every cricketer has cricketer name. Each and every cricketer has total score. Now I want to create the default constructor, and here you can define some default value. So I'm just defining that cricketer code is equal to, for example, 1001. Cricketer name is equal to, for example, Rohit, and score is equal to, for example, 102. Now I'm just printing here that default constructor is invoked, and here I just want to print that these are the values, and that is cricketer code, you can give some space, cricketer name, and you can give some space, and this is the score of that particular cricketer. So you can say this is the default constructor. But now I want to take the input from the user, and based on that I want to assign the value. So I want to take the input from the user, that is integer cricketer code and string cricketer name and integer score. So instead of this, you can write this dot cricketer code is equal to cricketer code. So your this refer to current instance cricketer code, that is instance variable, and this cricketer code is the value that is come as a formal parameter. And here you can write that is this dot cricketer name is equal to cricketer name, and here you can write this dot score is equal to score, and here you can just print that parameterized constructor is invoked, and you can print your value, that is this dot cricketer code, this dot cricketer name, and this dot score. So these are the two different constructor. One constructor is, you can say, default value, and default value I just printed, and this is the constructor with the different number of argument. So I'm just creating an instance cricketer C1 is equal to new cricketer. So it will create an instance of Rohit Sharma. Now I'm writing here cricketer C2 equal to new cricketer, and I'm passing the value over here, that is cricketer code 1002 Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar, and the score is, for example, 219. Let me compile this program. So I'm just running this Java C overload demo 3.java. I'm running here, that is Java overload demo number 3. Then you will get, if you are calling the default constructor, then default will be called. If you are passing parameterized constructor, then parameterized constructor will call, and this is, you can say, that is constructor overloading. But what happens, see, all time whenever your default constructor is called, this value will be initialized in default only. But what if I have one more constructor in which I'm just passing only cricketer code, the name and score that I want to assign the default. So if I'm writing this dot code is equal to cricketer code, so whatever the user provide here, what happens, see, I am creating here one more instance. Please see carefully. This is the wonderful example. I'm just passing here cricketer C3 equal to new cricketer. Now I'm passing here number, that is 1003. But what happened? This 1003 definitely it will be assigned. But what about the cricketer name and score? Cricketer name and score you are assigning in only in default. You are not assigning in the parameterized, right? Then it will take the value here, the string value, null value will be displayed, and in the score you will get the 0. Let me print here the same statement so you people can get the better idea. let me save this particular code. Let me run this Java C overload demo3.java. See here, I'm getting null and 0. Why? Because I just assign only one thing, that is the cricketer code. I doesn't assign the name and score. So if you want to assign this, then you need to copy this and you can paste here. But this is known as a repeated task. This is known as a repeated task, and here you will get that 1003 and Rohit and 102. So default value is initialized definitely, but I need to write it in this constructor also. If you don't want to write this value over here, then I recommend you that default value initialized in a initializer block, and initializer block will be called every time for the each instance, and that is the reason why you will get, if you are assigning cricketer code, then the only cricketer code will be changed, the rest will be as it is, that is the Rohit and 102. So if you run this, you will get the message over here, and that is 1003. See, code is changed, but the name and run are same. So I just use this initializer block to initialize the value for each instance. If user is passing some value, then I'm initializing that value. If user is not passing, then I'm initializing the default value. And if user is passing the cricketer code, then I'm initializing the code only. The rest will be as it is. So this is what the constructor overloading is. That's it from my side.